Okay, so this is the page for the generator. Okay, so what you want to know is how much are you producing, what are the amperage, what is the voltage. Okay, so and that's all the AC side you want to know, and sometimes that's all the information you get, and in all reality you'll be bloody lucky if you even get anything more than watts. So I wanted to also know, however, what is the DC side of our generator. We're not operating on a brushless system. It is brushed, it is basic, and it's straightforward what you can purchase pretty much off the shelf. So nothing really special, and to all degrees the cheaper generators are going to be no more generic than what we have. So I want to know what the DC side is doing. I also want to know DC voltage for the brushes. I want to know DC current. I want to know DC amperage, all those kind of things. You also want to know what the frequency that your generator is producing. You do have a variable window you can play with on generators where you are operating it off grid, put it that way. So there's lots of different ways. You can either tell it to just load a certain amount in watts, you can tell it to load it variable to the amount of frequency. These are, with SMA's equipment, you find 99% of the problems actually come back to, if you're off grid, it's actually the generator. You've got physical, obviously, problems with the generator, but you've also got, more than anything, frequency problems. So if your generator's frequency is too high, it's running too fast, because the generator speed is directly linked to frequency. So if the speed is too fast, your frequency will be higher. So let's call it 50 hertz, it will be 50, 51, 52, etc. At a certain point, it won't work anymore connected to your own mini grid. It'll just disconnect it. Two is that if you have no real control over your generator, the more you load, the slower it will bog down, like driving around with your handbrake on, right? So then as the frequency drops, your sunny island will start to back off the amount of watts or amps is applied to that generator, and you can end up with this backwards and forwards. So it's a little bit of a fine tune, and most of the time they're only governed, is what they call it, governing. They're only governed by literally a spring. So when that spring gets weak or too hot or whatever it is, it will start to back it off as a safety device. It won't keep loading it, but it makes it very difficult to get a very exact, pinpoint, precise amount of consumption that you want. So actually, I mean, we've not used our generator now. We're in February. We've probably not run it for at least a couple of weeks, if not months now. I say a couple of weeks. We've maybe put an hour in here or an hour there running off the generator, but nothing of 4 or 5 hours at a time. So you can kind of get an idea. This is our house loading, or the loading. We call it house load, but it's not really house load. It would be more like grid loading is probably a better way to put it. So, you know, it just shows in the moment. It doesn't necessarily mean it is from the batteries, or it's from the solar panels only, or even from the wind only. It's just giving you a very rough idea, and then we would actually, if the grid has operated in a while, it will actually start to show you more information as that goes on, or how the two are related together. Again, you don't really want to run your generator and then start using your washing machine and dishwasher and stuff like that. You change your lifestyle, is a better way to put it, and so therefore you think forward, is one of the better ways to put this. Actually, it's very Ouroboros, and you'll find out as you use it. People suffer from things like battery anxiety is a very good example. Oh, I don't have enough, I don't have enough. It's like driving around in your car. You know that you only need 20 litres of fuel, but you want to make sure that you've got plenty there left over, so you don't drive around to the point that your tank's almost empty. You drive knowing you've got a reserve, right? So when you want the generator to run, and say your generator produces 4 kilowatts, and your house is currently consuming, we call it a rest rate. So if your house is resting at 1 kilowatt, you are banking in your batteries 3 kilowatts. So what you don't really want to do is run your generator and then start loading all the devices that you want on all at the same time. Because you want that energy being produced to go into your batteries. So you find that when you want to run the generator, you think ahead, you think forward, you go, right, I don't want to cook yet, I don't want to put my dishwasher on yet. I'm going to delay that for an hour. I'll run my generator for 1 hour. So what I'm going to do is then put in 3 kilowatts into my batteries. 1 kilowatt by the generator has already been used up on the house. So by doing that, those 3 kilowatt hours that I've now put in, because I've run it for 1 hour, may see me for 3 hours with my house at normal resting mode. And so that's how you start to change the way that you operate, and you just start to think a little bit ahead. So you get to a point where you say, I know what I want to do, I want to cook in the next few hours, but I've only got 20% left in my battery. So if I put on my generator now at 6 p.m. and I'm not going to cook until 9, but I've got a good few hours, I could bring that battery all the way up to 70%, and then I don't need to worry later. Okay. More importantly, more than anything, right down at the bottom, you have generator control. Now, this is something that annoyed me immensely on something like SMA Sunny Portal or any of the SMA monitoring equipment. It is monitoring only. There is no interaction. Okay, so even if I saw that my batteries are getting very low, even though I know and I'm out, I'm not at home, how can I turn my generator on? Because I know I'm out, it's 6 p.m, I'm not going to be home until 9, but when I get home I want to put my dishwasher on, I want to boil my kettle, I want to do all these things. So I want to make sure I've got enough power before I get home. So what I can do is I can remotely, by remote control, turn my generator on from wherever I am. Doesn't make any difference. So, but how do you do something like that? So but it's showing you, this is showing you it can be done. It's not showing you that it shouldn't be done. It's not showing you that it can't be done. It's showing you that it can be done. There's a lot of stuff, and I've heard from a lot of people, there is too many people that say it can't. Well, why can't it? Why can't it be done? Why have I got to rely on somebody saying to me, it's very easy because they've not done it, to say can't. Okay? So I'll come to switches and controls later, I think. Okay?